You've set off enough of them. Time for Ladandre to have a turn. Every year, I host a neighborhood party for the 4th of July. Everyone is welcome unless they decide to be an a-hole. I live in a pretty poor area. I'm the only one with a pool, and I bought the property next door and knocked the house down, so I have a double-sized plot. I'm not saying any of this to brag, just explaining background information. Plenty of room to party. The party went pretty well. People started showing up around 1 p.m. We played in the pool, we chased my dogs around the yard, we ate some barbecue, and we had some beers. The teenagers went off to take a walk, read, smoked some pot right before sunset, so it was just adults and small children around when I started my fireworks show. Every year I spend $2,000, $3,000 on fireworks. I only set them off between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. on the 4th. I'm not one of those folks setting off fireworks for a week before, after the holiday. One rule I have is that I am the only person who is allowed to light fireworks on my land. If anyone is getting rushed to the ER missing some fingers, it's not going to be one of my guests, it's going to be me. So I set off my first 3 rounds of mortars, 28 total fireworks. And as I'm getting set up for the 4th round, 22 fireworks, a woman who I have never met approaches me. She's apparently my 4th neighbor to the west sister, but I had no idea who she was at the time. My daughter is really enjoying the show, but she wants to light one instead of just watching me. Sorry, I don't let anyone light fireworks on my property, but me, this isn't exactly safe, and I don't want to get sued. Oh, sugar, it's okay, she'll be fine. Look how sad she is. At this moment, she points at a smiling girl who is clearly no older than 7. Me. I'm sorry, but even if she were 21, I wouldn't let her do it. There's no way I'm letting a child risk their fingers. Here, you just want to hog all the fun for yourself. You've set enough of them off. Time for Ladandre to have a turn. Stop being selfish. You and your daughter have been enjoying my food, my pool, and my yard for the past 8 hours for free, and you're calling me selfish because I care about your child's safety, but she wants to light one. Me? That's not gonna happen, and if you continue to push the issue, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Now, kindly step back so that I can continue the show. We've been arguing this whole time, and people want to see fireworks, not arguments. Just sit back and enjoy the holiday. At that point, she went over to her daughter, grabbed her by the arm, and went back to her brother's house. I feel bad for the kid. She missed the rest of the show, and she missed the homemade ice cream cake. I bring out at the end of the party. Her brother and his kids stayed at the party and had a great time. I hope the little girl was at least able to watch the show from the window or their own yard or something. The next story is entitled Aunt Makes My Grandpa Sell His House. I don't know how to exactly write this, as this has been going on for as long as I can remember. I thought about making this post for quite a while, but never knew if it was my place to say. I decided to create this account so that my cousin C doesn't see this since she knows about my normal Reddit account. And sorry if there are any grammatical errors, as English is not my first language. Some stuff to know the background. I will be talking about me, my aunt referred to as a in the story, the EP of the story, my cousin, a mom, and my grandpa, and buckle up because this will be a roller coaster of a ride. The house in question consists of 2 small flats and a garden. The whole house is my grandpa's, nobody else's. My aunt was living at my grandpa's house with her daughter C. They were paying a rent sorts. They were paying like $100 per month, and for my grandpa, that was just not enough since he was already in retirement and practically living off of him. I would always tell grandpa that he was being unreasonable for wanting more money, and the fact that he was not alone in the house should be enough of a reason to not ask for anything more actual words. Later on, she started complaining that she cannot change anything around the house since it is not hers and practically tried to nudge grandpa into rewriting the house to her. She tried that several times but never succeeded, and eventually would stop asking and would just make changes around the house as she saw fit. Grandpa told her several times that he did not wish for his house to be reconstructed, but he did tell her that she can make changes that could be removable without any damage to the house. Later on, like 3 years later, a remarried, had a baby, and stopped talking to G. And though she still lived with her husband in the flat owned by G, she started calling my mom a lot though. Like 3x per day. For weeks, I was never the one to beg, but from the first call, we all knew what she wanted. The house that wasn't ours. It usually went something like this, IDA. I don't remember the exact details, as it was in fact 3 years ago. Hey, I am. I know we don't talk that much, but as you might know, I had a child recently. And I wanted to ask you if you would be such a sweetheart and give up your part of the house to me, so me and my family could finally live somewhere for real. Are you talking about the house? That is not mine. We've talked about this. I cannot sell you what is not mine. And if dad doesn't want to sell it to you, then I have no idea why you were talking to me. ASAP is Nellers. Well, you didn't have to be such a B-word about it. I've never done anything bad to you. And then she would proceed to cuss my mom out for basically not selling her G's house. And after that, she would stop talking to everyone and do her own stuff. And after that, she bought her own house. Problem solved, right? Wrong, super, super wrong. Remember C, I didn't want her to move in with her and her new family, but since C was 16 at the time, she had the brilliant idea that she would just stay at G's place. When G said that he wishes to give the flat to my mom, I was already in college, so she was basically living alone for rent and wants C to live with a cur-bloody mom. She basically blew a fuse, cussed him out, and said that she has been living in that house for the past 15 years and that it was basically hers and that he just can't do this. So G agreed that C can live there until she moves to college. Fair enough, college would be in like 2 years, so my mom didn't make a big deal out of it. And yes, G was the one who asked my mom if she would like to move there since A is moving. And now we are in the present. C got into college and found a flat already nice, so M packed her bags and got ready to move to G's place. Until it told her that she does not wish to do that and that she will have to pay her for the flat and the changes that G said she can't do. Because even though the flat is not hers, she still paid a lot of money to renovate it. My mom refused and pointed out again that the flat is not hers and she will not pay her a cent for it. But G essence he wanted to have contact with his grandchild. That was living with a E, the small baby that is now 3. And yes, she cut contact before, just because G said no to her. Or she didn't agree with something he refused to do for her for free. Said that M has to wait, but didn't like that because it would mean that the house would truly never be hers, so she threw a fit, saying it is just not fair and that nobody should be in the house if it's not hers. Today G said to us that it cut him off from herself, and therefore her kid as well, and so he said he will sell the house in October if it will not resolve the conflict between herself and M. I am sad for my grandpa, as well as sad for my mom, who will probably never get to live in her childhood house thanks to my entitled aunt. I don't know what can we even do in this situation. Does anyone have any suggestions? The last story is, anxious about leaving for Paris? I'm 17F, I live, either my mom and we're in a bad financial situation. Bills haven't been paid, divorce, and a lot of mental abuse. My mom had a 4-year-old with her husband and she always leaves me to take care of her, whether for a tantrum or whatever. My mom gives me the responsibilities of cleaning the house by myself. It's a pretty big house, taking care of my dogs and helping out with my sister. My sister is not really disciplined. When she whines and cries, my mom ignores her or dissociates and walks away from her, leaving me to deal with it, or just tells and hits her, leaving her with nothing to learn from. I'm going to community college to give her time to move out the house and settle before I feel leave from her care. I want to study abroad across the States or in France for agriculture and food science. I really want to travel and I feel passionate about that. But lately, she has expressed anger at my grandmother who went back to school and went to a very expensive island to live, and she felt like my grandmother left us, even though she lived a whole hour away. I feel like she's gonna say the same thing to me since she acts like she can't do anything alone. I hope you enjoyed these stories. Hit the like button and subscribe to support the channel. Have a great day.